Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one. Welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. For today's audio-visual extravaganza, we have a Tier 9 ranked battle here on the Tears of the Desert map. This is Schrimpel in the German Tier 9 Premium Heavy Cruiser. I don't really know how to pronounce that. Look, I'm sorry Germany, I realise that the Prussian general, after whom this heavy cruiser is named, the second of the 5 Admiral Hipper class heavy cruisers, is one of, if not the most famous Prussian general who ever lived. He fought at the Battle of Waterloo against Napoleon, for God's sake, but I don't know how to pronounce his name. And it's not entirely my fault. You see, when I was growing up, there was a village just up the road from where I lived that was named after this Prussian general. But we called it Blücher. And I know that's wrong. I know that's not how his name is pronounced. But that's the way I learned it, because that was the name of the village that was actually named after this. Well, I say general, he was actually a field marshal at the time. And the mining village of Blücher in the northeast of England was named after him in honour of his contribution towards the victory at the Battle of Waterloo. Blücher. I know that's not how the Germans pronounce it, but I don't know how the Germans pronounce it. I imagine, looking at it, it's probably pronounced Blücher or something like that, but I don't know. I'm going to call it Blücher. Germany, feel free to shit all over me in the comments if I've got it wrong. And a real ship, by the way, as mentioned, the second of the 5 Admiral Hipper class cruisers. Didn't have a particularly illustrious career, commissioned in September 1939, sunk in April 1940, invading Norway. Severely underestimated the antiquated 11-inch guns and torpedo battery on the harbour fort in Oslo during the German invasion of Norway on the night of the 9th of April 1940. She still lies in the harbour to this day, where she continues to leak oil to this day, despite extensive efforts to make the wreck safe. The Norwegians managed to pump most of the ship's fuel oil from her bunkers starting in 1994, but it's estimated around 20 to 30 tonnes of fuel oil still remain. Still, a ship that actually existed in this game at Tier 9. Well, that's nice. So anyway, Schrimpel in the Blücher. Tier 9 ranked battle. Tears of the Cruisers map. Yes. In case you're new here, the reason this map is called Tears of the Cruisers is because of the proliferation of all these islands. Now, generally, that's a good thing if you're in a cruiser, because you can hide behind an island and lob shots over it. Maybe just stick out enough to get your front turrets firing and still manage to remain undetected. And just spam shots away at the enemy and profit. Usually. Not on this map. The islands on this map are deceptive like that. A lot of them, for example, are low enough in elevation that they don't actually provide any real cover. Certainly no cover from enemy shots that can be lobbed over them and still hit you. So Schrimpel's doing none of that. He's sticking to open water, which, when you're going up against battleships in a cruiser, is often a death sentence. But so is trying to hide behind the islands in a cruiser on this map. And it's only a death sentence sticking to open water if you're sailing in straight lines at constant speeds, none of which he is doing today. There's First Blood, good start, courtesy of the friendly Buffalo, and of course everybody else who realised that there was an enemy destroyer spotted in open water waiting to be killed. And while Hydro was running, and even if it hadn't been running, obvious Fletcher torpedoes are kind of obvious, they weren't apparently obvious enough for the friendly Jean Bar. Although, to be fair, I think he only took 1 or 2 of them. So, what do you need to know about the Blücher, other than that it was named after the Prussian field marshal who fought at the Battle of Waterloo and was sunk in 1940 after less than a year in service? Oh, good shooting, sir. That, by the way, is kind of what this ship is good for, shooting. It's also more than a little surprising, because this is a relatively new ship. You know, it hasn't been in the game that long, only 9 months or something like that. And it doesn't have any gimmicks. There's no funny button. I mean, by the standards of almost everything else that's been released into the game this year at high tier, it is definitely bucking the trend. It's just good at shooting in general, and good at shooting armour-piercing shells in particular. These 8-inch guns are blessed with destroyer levels of accuracy, and the armour-piercing shells that they fire have improved ricochet angles, high penetration, and nice flat ballistic arcs. Which means that while German high explosive does tend to be very good, and the Blücher's is very good, you're still almost always going to be better off buying the armour-piercing shells. Whoa, hang on, wait a minute. Look at how fast that Valparaiso's moving. That thing just reversed out to shoot at the Jean Bart. Did you see how quickly it accelerated away from those? That was full astern to full ahead in like less than 10 seconds. That's ridiculously... I mean, that's British light cruiser level of acceleration. And that thing's a battleship. Why is nobody talking about the Valparaiso's manoeuvrability? Seriously, you Google Valparaiso World of Warships and every article you read will be talking about the strong secondaries and the fast-firing main guns. Nobody's talking about the ship's manoeuvrability. I've been there, by the way. Valparaiso, city in Chile. Headquarters of the Chilean Navy, actually. Flew out there to join HMS Manchester from Paris. I see he's finally getting some decent hits on the Dmitry Donskoy, and it looks like the Donskoy is slow and it tried to avoid this salvo, and well, yeah, I mean, he tried. Note in chat, the friendly destroyer, the Somme there, the reason why he's shooting and risking getting lit up by the Valparaiso's very strong secondaries is he has just found out the hard way that the Neptune on the enemy team is in fact a radar Neptune, which is basically unheard of. I mean, you get the occasional radar Minotaur, and you get enough radar Minotaurs that it's wise to not go rushing any cap circles in destroyers until you know whether or not the Minotaurs on the enemy team have smoke or radar, but the Neptune almost always goes with smoke because it is so ridiculously fragile. It's basically a Tier 9 Omaha. It's made out of fuel explosives and citadels. So that is an extremely brave and highly unexpected choice from the enemy Neptune. The team have just lost their Los Andes. That's a really, really good Tier 9 battleship, by the way, and that's going to be a blow to morale. Oh, the other thing about the Blücher is it doesn't come with your standard German 6-kilometre torpedoes. These things actually have an 8-kilometre range. It's not a lot more, it's only 2 kilometres extra, but it's usually enough. Oh, and again, Valparaiso manoeuvrability. It's just swung one way to dodge torpedoes from one side. The Somme has basically judged this more or less perfectly. But look at how quickly it swings the other way and dodges almost all of those torpedoes. And that, quite frankly, absurd torpedo dodge gets the Somme killed as he was popping smoke, and because that was a secondary kill, the Valparaiso had not actually fired its main gun batteries in some time. It goes undetected in the Somme's smoke screen. Oh, God. Don't worry, I'm fake laughing. Only the tears are real. I mean, it's not going to stay undetected forever, because the second those guns reload, it's going to be trying to finish off these two cruisers. Isn't that right, Valparaiso? Valparaiso? Hello? Maybe he's waiting for his repair part, because he gets a specialised repair party as well. There it is. I think he was waiting for his repair party to come off cooldown. Or possibly he was aware that the Blücher has torpedoes which have a slightly longer range, because he did have to dodge Blücher torpedoes just a few moments ago. Well, minutes ago. Here, however, is where Shrimple has to make a tough choice, because it's a Neptune. And you don't ignore a Neptune for long and live to talk about it. And they're also ridiculously easy to sink, because, like I said, they're made out of fuel explosives and citadels, but that Valparaiso, its secondaries are no joke. And now that you're the last one left alive on the team, because you just sank the Buffalo, you are getting the full attention of all of those secondaries, which did just set a double fire, which is why your damage control is now on cooldown. But which one do you focus? Because the Neptune is easier to kill, but the Valparaiso is more dangerous. Also, the Neptune isn't in torpedo range and the Valparaiso is. Although we have just witnessed how stupidly good the Valparaiso is at dodging torpedoes. And yes, those are shots coming from Cap Circle Bravo, where the Manteuffel is flipping it. And you can see the exact moment there where the Valparaiso decides he's going to go for the ram. And you know what? Good idea. Does make it slightly more difficult for him to dodge these torpedoes, however. And it's not going to take many. He's got him. Right, now he can focus. Yeah, that's right, you better run. Yeah, how good's your radar now? Yeah, you thought you were all clever. Nobody expects a radar Neptune. Yeah, and do you know why nobody expects a radar Neptune? Because... Oh! Come on, don't make a meal of this. You're dragging this out. Because radar Neptunes are shit. Although, you know what? In a game as battleship heavy as this, that Neptune did well to stay alive as long as he did. And now it's German heavy cruiser versus... Is the Manteuffel a heavy cruiser? Oh yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, it's a very heavy cruiser. It has 350mm guns. And it's actually started this fight with more hit points than Schrimpel here. But while it definitely has larger caliber guns, that doesn't mean it has better guns. And the Manteuffel's guns are pretty good. But the ship's primary selling point is its manually operated secondaries. And Schrimpel's aware of that, which is why he's reversing, to keep himself at extreme range of those secondaries, which the Manteuffel is using. And you know what the Manteuffel cannot be doing when it's operating the secondaries, because they are manually controlled? It can't be firing the 350mm guns. And I mean, the Manteuffel secondaries are very, very good. I don't know. I mean, Manteuffel captains, feel free to correct me here, but I feel like if you're sailing a ship that's armed with 350mm guns and you're facing a cruiser that has less than 15,000 hit points, maybe fire the main gun batteries, chunk him for 10,000 hit points, and then finish him off with the secondaries while the 350mm guns are reloading. Seems like that might have given the Manteuffel a slightly better chance of success. Certainly couldn't have gone any worse for him. And couldn't have gone any better for Schrimpel here in the Blücher. Or however the hell it's pronounced, I don't know. I just know it's not Blücher. Yeah. Tier 9 ranked, 7 ships per side, 5 kills. I think we're going to call that one a success. Congratulations, Schrimpel. Well-deserved victory. Hope you all enjoyed watching him pull that one out of his arse. And as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.